What's up guys, Josh Blunt here and welcome to my channel where I break down everything you need to know about exercise and nutrition for beginners and more. 2020 has been one of the craziest years by far. Many of us are going through our own unique experiences. Many of these experiences are good, and unfortunately, many of these experiences are bad. Well, today we're going to talk about somebody who has utilized her time and her efforts to make 2020 something great for her. Now, the person I'm going to be talking about today is Rebel Wilson and her weight loss journey. Now, many of you already know Rebel Wilson from some of her great comedies. I think she's absolutely hilarious personally, and what I'm going to be breaking down today isn't necessarily news per se. It isn't brand new. If you follow her on Instagram or any other platform, you might already know the story or at least part of it. I also get the fact that many of you might think that because she's a celebrity, she might have certain incentives to lose weight. And maybe this is not you. I recently got a comment saying that a paycheck would be the only incentive to start a weight loss journey. And I am here to tell you differently. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact strategy that she used to lose 60 pounds in 2020 and some crucial tips that make all of this possible. Let's dive in. Alright, so many of you have already seen this across social media. None of this is new about Rebel Wilson's weight loss journey, but in my opinion, Rebel Wilson figured out some of the key things for long-term success when you're talking about pretty much anything. In this case, we're going to be talking about her health. Rebel Wilson is calling 2020 the year of health, which I think is a great approach to a year that has unfortunately destroyed a lot of lives. All right, so let's break down her approach to fitness, how she lost 60 pounds, 1 month ahead of schedule actually, and what exactly is driving her to stay consistent long term. But first things first, I recently got a comment saying that I talk too fast and I move around too much in my videos, so for this, I am sorry. I'm just a really fast talker, I always have been, but for the viewer experience, I will try to slow it down a little bit. Okay, so in the beginning of the year, Rebel Wilson said, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get healthy. She mentions that becoming famous has brought a lot of stress, which I think many of us could imagine, and because of this, she became an emotional eater. This is very common for a lot of us, and I'm talking about being an emotional eater, not being famous. If we have a bad day at work, or maybe we're going through a breakup, or just going through the year 2020 itself, it tends to be emotional. And what we do when we get emotional is we eat a lot of the times, and these comfort foods tend to be higher in calories. Now, Rebel Wilson's comfort food was donuts. I love donuts personally, so I totally understand this. She would eat roughly about 3,000 calories per day. She was working on her mental health and issues with low self-esteem. So in the beginning of the year, she decided to change this. She wanted to start exercising, she wanted to cut back on the calories, she wanted to cut out the sugar for the most part, and just start living a healthier life. But it's gonna be her approach that is something to pay attention to. Number one, she wanted to be able to live a healthier lifestyle with balance while still being able to treat herself with the foods that she loved and enjoyed. Honestly, I think this is one of the best approaches because if you restrict yourself too much, especially in the beginning, if you don't know what you're getting into, then that's going to lead to yo-yo dieting or bouncing back on that weight or even binge eating later on down the road. So by balancing these healthier foods with some foods that you actually enjoy, it's going to make it a lot easier to stay consistent long term. Rebel Wilson says you just gotta treat yourself by eating the foods that you enjoy once or twice a week and then substituting a bubble bath on the alternate nights. She is trading one reward for the other one. If you can't have your donuts one night, then find another reward to replace it. In this case, bubble baths. So that is tip number one, find a balance. Eat the foods that you love, just maybe not as often, and combine it with some healthier foods. Now, Rebel Wilson also started following a diet called the Meyer Method. Now, the Meyer Method has 4 pillars of treatment. These pillars are regular exercise, a nutrition plan, awareness, and modern medicines. They go on to say that once we have treated your condition, regular exercise and proper nutrition combined with improved mental awareness become the building blocks of your new life. They also say that you should be chewing your food 40 to 60 times. Now, me personally, I don't think that I can do this. You would think that the food would be dissolved by then, but who am I to judge? But look at it this way. It takes up to 15 to 20 minutes after you start eating for your brain to recognize whether you're full or not, whether you've consumed enough energy. That is when leptin is released, which is a hormone that's going to regulate your appetite. So if you're a fast eater, then you might end up consuming more calories than your body actually needs before your brain recognizes whether you're full or not. So by chewing your food 40 to 60 times, it's going to slow down your eating so much and allow that hormone to kick in. That's just how I look at it though. Anyways, Rebel Wilson also decided to hit the gym. Now, she hired a personal trainer part-time, but I'm telling you, you definitely do not need to do this. There are so many exercise videos on YouTube that can help guide you through these exercises and point you in the right direction. Just spend a little time educating yourself, and you're also going to learn from your own experiences every time you go. Now, a trainer is also there to hold you accountable, but there are many ways that you can do that, and that's one of the most important tips that we're going to cover in just a moment. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you hit that like button so YouTube will share that value with other people, and consider subscribing to the channel for weekly content on exercise and nutrition. All right, let's get back to it. Now, in my opinion, Rebel Wilson's exercise program was pretty extreme. She would start out doing HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. The next day she would do some form of resistance training with weights. The next day she would do mobility exercises. Then she would go back to HIIT. Then she would do weights again. Then she would recover. Now, I would personally not recommend starting this way. High intensity training is very demanding on the body. Training 6 days a week, regardless of what you're doing in the beginning, is very demanding on the body. As a beginner, you could very easily just start with some steady state cardio like the elliptical or the stationary bike, and then do some light resistance training. There are many effective approaches, and she was under the guidance of a coach. So make sure whatever you start with, you find something that's going to work for you. Rebel Wilson also said that one of her favorite exercises to do was actually walking, saying that I want you guys to know, but the majority of the exercises that I've done this year has just been me going out for a walk. I think that this is awesome personally. I just did a couple of videos right here talking about the benefits of walking and how to get started. She also says that walking is the best for me and my body type to metabolize fat, and her biggest tip for everyone is just to get out there and walk. I absolutely love this approach. She is 100% right. Do not underestimate the effectiveness of walking, especially as a beginner. It can be done with any fitness level or age. It is very easy to stick to long term, and many people just do this kind of physical activity just for the enjoyment itself. Hiking trails, walking on the beach, there is a number of ways that you can start doing this. I highly recommend adding this to your routine. Rebel Wilson also did some TRX training, she did some boxing, and a number of other things. Like I said, there are many different approaches that can be effective. Be creative, try a number of things, and see which one works for you. All right, so the next couple of tips are super valuable in my opinion, and I highly recommend adding this to your strategy. Number one, this is very important, and that is to hold yourself accountable. One strategy that Rebel Wilson used, and her trainer actually encouraged this, was to post her progress on social media. This is not only inspiring to other people, but you're also putting yourself out there in front of your friends and your family, and in her case, the world. And she was letting these people know that she has a goal to reach and that she's going to stick with it. This can be a very difficult approach, but very effective as well, because we definitely don't want to let ourselves down or give up, and we don't want to do that in front of the people that we love or people that look up to us and that are rooting for us to achieve our goals. So by posting your progress on social media in front of other people and putting yourself out there, that gives us even more of a reason to continue on with our journey and hit our goals. Now, there are many different ways that you can hold yourself accountable. You definitely don't have to do that one. You could do something like the Seinfeld strategy, where you're putting an X on the calendar every time you work towards your goals, and you try not to break that chain. Or you can work out with a partner and hold each other accountable. So you definitely don't have to post your progress on social media, but again, holding yourself accountable, the most effective way for you, definitely a good strategy. All right, so another very powerful tip, and that is to find a reason that is so strong that you can start and finish what you set out to do. Rebel Wilson was reaching 40, and she wanted to freeze her eggs so that she could have children when she was ready. And in order to do this, you want to be healthy. This is obviously a very important reason, as you can imagine. And this reason is what keeps her motivated to become and to stay healthy. Without a strong enough reason, the energy that you put into your health to become a healthier person might be more than the rewards that you're getting out of it. But if the reward or the reason is strong enough, like it's something that you need, something truly important to you, then the effort that you put in to get there will definitely be worth it. And I promise you that will make all of the difference. So find your reason, find your reward, and make sure that it's powerful enough and strong enough to start your fitness journey towards better health and achieve it. So in the end, Rebel Wilson realizes that struggling with emotional eating isn't going to go away completely. But what she says is you need to find a way to manage it, and what you can do to replace those unhealthy habits with healthier ones. And in my opinion, that is exactly right, so well done. All right guys, to sum it up, if you want to be successful and reach your goals, make sure you find a balance in nutrition by eating the healthier foods combined with the foods that you love. Combine all of that with some regular exercise. Find something that you can stay consistent with. hold yourself accountable, whether that's with a friend, posting your results on social media, whatever works for you, and make sure you have a strong enough reason to not only start this journey, but to finish it. All right, guys, that is it for the content. I hope that I talked slow enough for you. I'm trying to make this an enjoyable experience. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you give it a thumbs up so YouTube will share that value with other people, and consider subscribing to the channel if you're feeling generous. I do appreciate your support, and I will see you guys on the next video.